I feel like Secret Wars is going to be the biggest of cameo fest. I just hope it's all written well and like they matter rather than them just being there. Um, I hope we can get the original Avengers back for this, but just for this. And then, like I've said before, like I hope it kind of soft reboots where we can have these characters back, but not necessarily have the same cast. Which I
Mm,
know is hard, and everybody's like, "Oh, the OGs. Oh,
right.
no one's gonna be better than RDJ or
That's the tough
you gotta,
thing, bro. That's
yeah,
the tough thing is that like from this point on, no matter who plays Iron Man, and like art, like let's say for example, right, the first Iron Man, beautiful, right? The very first Iron Man movie, all the way back in 2008, was beautiful. They can make another Iron Man movie. It could be amazing. It could arguably be better than 2008. But the fact that it's not Robert Downey is the reason why people are not going to say that that movie's better.
yeah.
It can do well in the box office. It can, tie in with like any of the comic storylines that it wants to go on for Iron Man story. It could hit that perfectly. The actor could be more spot on. All right. Well, I don't know about that. That's the
You
hard
know what the
part.
good example is Robert Pattinson as Batman
Hmm.
because he did. I think he did very well,
Yeah, he did
very well.
great.
Both parts, Bruce Wayne and Batman, in
Hmm.
their respective universe. But if you were to ask the question, "Oh, do you think Robert Pattinson is a good Batman?" Not only will you get a yes or no, you will get a Christian Bale is my Batman or Christian Bale is the best and only Batman. This, that, and the other. I ain't knocking it because guess what? I fucks with Christian Bale all three movies. I watch
He's
them
your
all the
Batman.
time.
Yeah.
He's my Batman, but I know where to give credit where credit is due, and I do like Robert Pattinson. I would say he's my second favorite Batman.
Hmm.
So it's like
No, I agree.
it's a great example when it comes to something that becomes great and then it's hard to knock for everybody. And again, another example on the DC side, of course, uh,
Henry Cavill.
Joaquin. Well, no, I was gonna say Joaquin
Oh
Phoenix's
yeah, how
Joker,
Joaquin.
and then Heath Ledger's Joker. So it's like
We don't
if
count Jared Leto. We don't count him.
to, I'm saying, well, I'm talking about if something's great with somebody else, that's what I mean.
Okay,
So
okay.
it's like if you could ask the same question, do you think Joaquin's Joker is great? And again, you're gonna get those S and O's, and you're gonna get Heath Ledger's the only Joker. You know what I mean? But it's hard for people to accept change and and to not loathe over nostalgia all the time.
Well, let's do a hot take right here. Henry Cavill, right? Technically speaking, has only had one solo movie as Superman, right?
Mhm.
The only other movies that he's been a part of were Batman vs Superman and Justice League. You can say, oh, but Justice League Snyder cut, that means two more movies. Like, no, 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 just Justice League. All right, because literally all it is 2 hour extended edition. So it's three movies, right? Technically one. All of them, technically speaking, are garbage. We're not. I'm not counting Snyder cut because you had to do it a second time in order to fix a mistake. I'm not counting that. Those three movies, they were terrible. All right. Man of Steel is his greatest project as Superman, right? If Superman Legacy ends up being successful in the box office, uh, James Corn Sweat, right? That's his name.
No.
Something Corn Sweat. I'm just gonna call him Corn Sweat. Corn Sweat embodies the character more than Henry Cavill, and the story is better, right? If all three of those things match up, right? David Corn Sweat. David Corn Sweat. I don't know why I said James Corn Sweat. If all those things are better, you know how hard it is for people to say Henry Cavill or David Cornsweet actually played a better Superman. No one's
No.
ever gonna try and admit that, but he actually has the possibility. David Cornsweet has the possibility of being a better Superman than Henry Cavill. Henry
Yeah.
Cavill is an incredible actor. All right, Incredible actor. Has the look. I get it. But the story that he was given was shit. I understand that. But at the same time, for what what was given to us, it's below average. We got a below average Superman, but he's, the best Superman we've got. But look at all the movies, they're below average movies. If Superman Legacy ends up being a top tier movie, and then he gets a second movie and then ends up being a top tier movie, David Cornsweet's a better Superman. But no one's gonna try and admit that.
Well, I mean, performance and then the script is a different thing, because Henry Cavill did pretty well with what he was given. Again, like, he always wanted it to be more lighthearted, but every time they wrote for him, it was
It
always
was
like
dark,
darker.
yeah.
So, at least he wanted a true Superman. But
I mean, David
again,
Cornsweet
I
is
think
getting a dark one because they're saying David Cornsweet's Superman is not going to be a lighthearted Superman.
mm,
They
I
were
don't know. It's
saying the
hard to tell.
Superman movie isn't gonna be
Well, I mean, if you think about it too, technically the Guardian stories are all pretty dark.
exactly. And James
Technically,
Gunn
if you
is
really look at it, the Guardians, even though like the funniest ones, they're
yeah.
also like the story themselves are usually the darkest ones.
You watch Guardians of the Galaxy 1 in that scene where Rocket's like talking about he called me
Yeah,
Herman and shit. After watching the
yeah,
third one, like that's pretty. These are pretty dark stories, and James
yeah.
Gunn
But
is taking
I
this
don't think
over.
I don't think that they mean dark as in like DC EU dark. I think they mean as in like it's gonna have a hard hitting fucking story.
Right.
But it's still gonna feel like traditional Superman. Um, but I think performance and writing kind of come into play differently, because one, James Gunn's really good at writing characters, and then he's good at casting people as well. I feel like if he believes in David Cornsweet, we should too. Um,
Mm,
when it comes to Henry Cavill, he had the perfect look and physique and acting skills for a Superman.
right.
It's just sucks what he was given. And I'm betting a lot of people would argue the same for like Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. It's like
Oh
they'd
yeah.
say they'd say he has the look, this, all that, and but the movies were just
Yeah. I mean,
trash.
he's a better. I'll be honest. Like people could argue this. He's a better actor than Toby and Tom Holland. Like actor. As far as
Yeah,
actor, he's a better actor than all of them, for
yeah,
100%.
and
But
I mean, and respectively, they're both really good actors as well.
oh yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
Toby's been in some great projects. Tom's been in some great projects.
Like they're all like when I say that's the bad part about people saying, "Oh, when you call somebody great, you're just calling the other two trash." No,
Yeah, no, no,
it's
no.
just there's levels to this. It's like fucking LeBron, Kobe, and Jordan. One person is gonna be above. That
But that
doesn't mean
doesn't
that the
mean,
other two are
yeah,
trash. That's just
right.
that's what I'm saying. But I'll put some of the blame on Zack Snyder's direction on how he was creating Superman. I'll put some blame on him, right?
Yeah, because he was doing a lot of weird shit with
I'll
that whole universe, to be honest.
I'll put some blame on him. I'm not saying that. Right. I'm not saying that Henry Cavill was a trash Superman, but just what we've been given. All right. It's just he's a below average Superman that we've got. All right. Because you gotta think about it like this. Andrew Garfield is still always gonna be Peter fucking 3. Why? Because Peter 1 and 2 had better fucking movies. It doesn't matter that Andrew Garfield is a better actor than them. He's still Peter 3. At the end of the day, he's Peter 3. And if David Cornsweet has a better Superman movie and is just in better projects than Henry Cavill was when he's had his time in the DC universe, the cinematic universe, Henry Cavill is gonna have to be Superman 2. See, people are
Well,
gonna put him at Superman 1 because he's Henry Cavill and he's the first one, but
I feel like it'll be for people. It'll be Henry Cavill, Christopher Reeves, and then David Cornswell. Just because of the change, like it's just like this.
Yeah, it's gonna take a while. It's gonna take a while. Like, let's be honest.
They're-
Like, we
They'll
were
they'll
skeptical of.
appreciate
Go ahead.
they'll appreciate everything when everything's done.
Right. That's what I'm
Cause think
saying.
because think if at the time did everybody think Christopher Reeves was a great Superman? Probably not.
Wasn't he the
At the
only
time,
Superman at the time?
well, yeah, but no, there was some before, like in black and white. But
Oh yeah.
did like everybody think, oh, this guy's Superman?
No.
Or this guy's the best Superman there will ever be. No, not everybody was saying
Not
that.
everybody. Yeah.
And now, if you were to ask a lot of people, do you think Christopher Reeves is a great Superman? They'll be like, hell yeah, that's the goat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's
It's
the
one of
goat.
those. It's that goat factor too. It's the same.
It's also seniority as well.
Right. That too.
Same thing for like when Toby came back in the movie. Like, people cheered for Andrew Garfield, but people roared for fucking Toby. Why? Because it was, it's that seniority. Even if Toby had, let's say in a weird alternate universe, even if Toby didn't have as good as movies as Andrew Garfield, people are still fucking roaring for Toby. At the end of the day, why?
Yeah.
Because he's the fucking OG. All right. Same will go for Henry Cavill and the guy from Superman Returns, right? Who's the guy from Superman Returns? I forgot his name.
Brendan Ruth.
Yeah, Brendan. Yeah, Ruth, right? Like, people will cheer for Brendan Ruth, but people will fucking roar for Henry Cavill because why?
I'm not gonna lie. In the CW little crossover event when he came back as Superman, actually, I thought that was pretty fucking cool.
It was, yeah, that was pretty fucking cool. But like, people will always have their top dogs.
Yeah, well, yeah.
People will
And
always have their
it's
top-
funny too. It's like Brendan Ruth's Superman movie fucking sucked, but it
People
was
say,
cool to see him come back. To play. It's so weird, isn't that? It's like the movie could be like absolute dog shit, but like
But
once
you
you
see
see that
him.
actor in the same costume again, it's like what?
Like, let's be honest. Let's be honest.
Like if we saw Ben Affleck as Daredevil again, I think everybody would fucking lose their shit.
We're
I
fucking
mean,
roaring, bro.
right? It's so weird. It's like the most trash movie, but like
It's
like
the same thing
nostalgia.
for
It's the
Andrew
nostalgia
Garfield.
effect
It's the
for
same
old.
thing. Andrew Garfield, same fucking thing. Before fucking Spider-Man No Way Home came out, nobody was talking about Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. And he had the shittiest fucking movie out of all the Spider-Man.
Well, no one was talking good. No one was talking good about it. I mean, a lot of people. There were a lot of people that would talk down on Tom Holland's. It's like, oh, it should have been Andrew Garfield. Da, da, da.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then No Way Home
whatever.
came out, and then there's like 10 million fanboys out of nowhere.
There's 10 million fanboys for like both sides of the story, right? Everything's falling on my side of the desk. There's 10 million fanboys switching up ever since that movie came out. But look, out of all the Spider-Man that have came out, Andrew Garfield's had the shittiest one. Boom, he comes back. Everyone's like, TASM 3, TASM 3. Let's get a TASM 3. All of a sudden, we want a TASM 3. Granted, I want a TASM 3 too now because everyone's begging for it, but it's just so weird how everyone's mind like shifts out of nowhere. We're just like taking a shift of like, oh, let's have them come back. Are they gonna do the same thing? Let's say, for example, right? Let's say, for example, DC's going on like they're 8 years into their projects. They have a little multiverse event. Henry Cavill comes back in. Can we see Henry Cavill again? Back in action. Yeah, let's see him one more time. Let's see him fight one more time. They're gonna do the same shit again. People are like, it's the same thing for Anakin Skywalker. We can go on all day. Anakin Skywalker, Hayden Christensen during that time was getting shit for playing Anakin Skywalker. Said he did terrible. Now, like, the moment we see Andrew Garfield, the moment we see Hayden Christensen on screen, we're like, oh my god, Anakin Skywalker, oh my god. Like that episode 5 of Ahsoka, everyone was fucking nutting their pants.
Yeah.
And now everyone wants to see him again. That's why I made that video where it was like, they need to stop using Anakin Skywalker. But, people take it to heart where they're like, no, you better shut up because